You care so much about the class you're getting in that you forget about the kids who are already there. Real talk.
On today's Odd Coaches podcast, we have a special treat for you. Dr. Keith Adams, host of the Odd Coaches podcast, gave a speech at the National Collegiate Recruiting Conference about recruiting and retaining balanced student athletes. Today we'll hear his speech in a Find the Balance Friday. Prepare to be informed and inspired.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Greetings and salutations. This is a pleasure for me. I did have a chance to speak at Ohio State, and it was more of the brainiac portion of the research, not, the big part of the research, which is now. I am a teacher by trade. My master's is in teaching, so we're going to begin with the end in mind. This is my contact information. I want us to have a relationship beyond this conference, so don't worry if you don't get it. It will be the last thing you see, and I am tight on time. Miss Sue Spencer, my mentor as a teacher, would kill me if I went over time, so hold me to that. So again, formal introduction. I am the founder and president of the CK Safe Project. We are a national nonprofit designed to assist student athletes and the people who work with them through educational and professional development. Our vision is to use the combination of academics and athletics as a catalyst to lifelong success. And again, we work directly with student athletes and the people who work with them. And here are the 4 things we focus on. Academic skills assessment. Yeah, you evaluate talent all the time, but most of the time you're evaluating athletic talent. Have you really dug in deep to who they are as a student? Because no matter what, they have to graduate. We all have measurable progress, and people are looking and everything. So we assess student athletes on 13 different skills that give us a better idea of how they can handle college. Real talk, real talk. We do a lot of academic and athletic consulting. Student athletes and coaches and administrators need independent people in their lives to tell them the truth, because too many people lie around them, okay? Lie. I'm gonna tell you the truth, and that's why we're not popular, but the thing we hold our hat on is we have a 90% college graduation rate, and most of those people are people of color. So there's no right way, there's no wrong way, there's a preferred way, but the CKA way, 90% college graduation rate, men, women, and mostly men and women of color. So we keep that in mind. We do academic monitoring. What gets measured and monitored gets done, and deadlines spur actions. So we help you do that, and not everybody has the budget of Ohio State or whoever. Most of us are no budget productions, okay? So we often do a lot of workshops. So at least you know who we are before we get going with that. This is who I am, and when you switch from Google to PowerPoint, you get stuff like that. So I'm going to keep it moving, okay? And I am selling the book, and most of the fancy Q codes and stuff are for the people online, but I'm that teacher that says it's okay to have your phone out, because there's going to be times I want you to do some stuff, so it's okay. There's more of you than me, so why am I going to fight you about a phone? But that's another story for another day. So check us out at the table when you get a chance. In addition, my tag team partner and I, Coach Mike Franchise Francis, we run a podcast 4 days a week. We hope to become regular listening for everybody. On Tuesday, we talk about all things NFL. On Wednesday, we talk about all things professional basketball, including the WNBA. And between me and you, what was that trophy that they gave Kelsey Plum? I'm still pissed. But again, I'll worry about that later. Thursday, we talk all things college. And when I say we talk all things college, we do college football, college basketball, men and women, and we talk about conference realignment. We talk about the academic piece. We talk about all the stuff that the general fans don't know. And we're the odd coaches because I am Felix. I'm very buttoned up, and he's Oscar, and sometimes he uses some words that I say, Mike, come on, Mike. Man, I don't give a, Kyrie makes me, okay, Mike. But did he really make you that mad? Okay, so let's get to the getting now. Now that you know who I am, I always like to introduce folks to who some of us are in CCA and what have you, but we get the idea. The NCAA was founded due to a lack of formality in college football. So don't ever forget, football's king. Okay, they were cheating in football in 1906, so they tried to fix the rules. They're still cheating in football. They're still trying to fix the rules. So skip all of that and get to the bottom part. Okay, we've got an eligibility center for D1, D2, and D3, which is my home and my heart. The recruited student athlete needs to gain admission into your school. Okay, no matter what level. They gotta gain admission into your school, and to get real money, not that fake money, but to get real money, they gotta be great students. We're all there. The school I worked at cost $50,000 a year, and I stopped coaching in 2013, so God knows what it is now, okay? So here's just a partial list of some motivational requirements. By no means is this exhaustive, but I wanna get to this one. If you do it right, recruiting is 40 years, not 4. So a lot of stuff, and we mean this with love, sincerity, and deepest care, random Prince reference. I'm gonna be counter to a lot of what you heard. So a lot of what you hear about recruiting is about that first year, but it's not about becoming a lifelong asset to our program. And everything we talk about is about you becoming a lifelong asset to our program wherever you're coaching. So they're an asset to you and your program, okay? Some traditional challenges, again, the list is endless and all of us face some of these challenges. I'm gonna hit one. Number 4, competition among similar schools. Hey, quite frankly, the school I worked at, I love them dearly and I'm in their Hall of Fame, but our packages were weak. Anybody else got weak packages compared to people in your conference? Real talk. So we've gotta find a way to make that happen, because it's real, okay? Some schools, I'm like, who's recruiting you? Damn. Because I know what the packages are, okay? So again, I can't talk about all of them, but that's one I'm gonna hit. So now, the challenges of recruiting and retaining, you see again, everybody's talking about getting you into college, but who's talking about getting you out? I'm talking about getting you out, okay? Because it's not about you getting in. I can get you in, and as admin have told me over my years, I can get your test scores up for a year, sure, but they ain't gonna stay up. But I can get you in the newspaper one year and get you that spike, but it ain't gonna stay. So again, navigating the NIL and the transfer portal, those are the 2 things I'm gonna mention very briefly here. So historically speaking, there are 3 R's in education, okay? Reading, writing, and arithmetic, okay? But here are the 3 R's of the world I live in terms of being an academic and being an athletic person. Refocus, relocate, or retire, because it's here. Get over it. You cry too much collectively as a group about yesterday, okay? So that's what we're gonna talk about, okay? And again, I hope I don't offend, but I ain't lying, okay? Now, it's hard to be a student athlete. Again, I can't talk about all of these things. My time is limited. But I want to talk about number 5, living in the sports box, okay? If they don't get out of the sports box, they're going to stay in it. And then if the one thing that they're there about is not going well, you can forget academics. It's over. So we got to get them out of the sports box and get them living in both worlds, okay? So transition from high school to college, I'm gonna hit one thing on each of them. Your first year students, time management, I don't know about you, but most of the student athletes we work with, that's their weakest area. Because mommy got them up. In school, everybody's hugging and kissing them and telling them how great they are. And in practice, everybody's kissing their tail because they're gonna leave and transfer. And if they play basketball, AAU, club ball, soccer. So again, their time management and organizational skills are lacking. And then the second year student athlete, I'm going to number 5. School does not get easier. I don't know who told them that, but it gets harder. So here's the thing that happens to them. Not only does it get harder academically, but you're going to bring in better players. That's your job. Everybody's got to be good. And if one thing is not working right, it's all over the place. So again, we're talking about recruiting and retaining. And then the last thing, and again, real talk, I'm going to hit number 2, and that's stereotype threat, because I don't know if you know this, but I'm a black male. And less than 6% of me are walking your campus. So the first thing most of them hear is, what do you play? Whoo, you don't know how hard that is to hear, okay? And then think about it on the big time level. 75% of Alabama's football team, African-American male. Less than 6% of their general population, African-American male. Try being that person. So again, I just want you to think about that experience as you do your job.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
So why are student athletes transferring? Again, can't talk about all of them, but I'm going to talk about one and wave to the table over there, mental health. NCAA did this research, not me. 61% of young ladies leaving because of mental health, 40% of men leaving because of mental health. Please, please, please either get help or ask for help or figure it out because they're struggling, okay? So why is this important? Why is this a passion of mine? Because employers like student athletes for all kinds of reasons, especially number 8, because that's come up often, leadership ability, okay? So let me introduce you to motivation. Now I'll become Dr. Adams and talk about my study. Motivation is very simple. It's just a desire to act. What makes you do whatever it is you're gonna do? That can be intrinsic, which is what we want because that's internal, and that's just you doing it because you wanna do it. It can be extrinsic because you're doing it for some other reason. I didn't want to be the greatest dishwasher in the history of the world, and my wife says I'm still not the greatest dishwasher in the history of the world, but if Richard Adams Sr. tugged on his waist a little bit because the dishes were still in the sink, I was motivated to try, okay? That's extrinsic motivation. Woo, okay, something didn't happen, right? So I'm going to try to make it happen. And then there's a motivation, which is the Scooby-Doo, right on roll, and that's the worst kind of motivation because they don't know why they did or didn't do whatever it was. So that's just what motivation is, and a lot of this, actually, most of this can be found in the book. So, all right, so let's talk about a plan, because I gave you the background, but now here's some specific measurable actions you can do, and we go in great detail in the book. Number 1, focus on retention over recruiting. You care so much about the class you're getting in that you forget about the kids who are already there. Real talk. And you know who told me that? Your recruits, your players. Coach don't care about me no more, and that's why they're leaving. Mental health. I'm not whatever you said I was. 2, develop a systematic approach to recruiting. Whatever your verbiage is whatever your verbiage is, but when I coached, we had 2 different levels of recruits. Here's our rankings, 1, 2, and 3, okay? Academically and athletically. If you're a 1, that means the first semester you get to campus, you're gonna contribute. So if you're a 1, that's who we wanna recruit athletically. If you're a 2, it's going to take you 2 semesters. And if you're a 3, you're a straight project and take a whole year. And yes, Division 3, you got to recruit projects. We also combine that with academics. So if you're a 1, you're going to be able to transition with minimal supports. We're going to give you supports, but it's going to be minimal. If you're a 2, that means it's going to take you a whole semester or 2 to figure this academic thing out. And if you're a 3, get ready to buckle in to whatever supports. So then if you combine the ratings, that's how we recruited. And we went from a school that was a transitional school, meaning we went from all women's college to co-ed, and most of them didn't want us there in the beginning, to making it to the NCAA tournament and winning the conference championship in 4 years, because we're educators. We're not just coaches. So everybody on our staff taught all day or had taught. So we look at the world way different than just the professional coach. Real talk. So have some educators on your staff because they're going to tell you some different things. Okay? So here's something else that gets you in trouble. Your language. You recruit role players like they're difference makers, and then when they get to campus and they see they ain't making no difference, they want to leave. Well, if you had told them up front, here's the role we see you playing, and embrace it because we need it, as opposed to you're going to be the greatest thing ever, that's a problem. So role players are not difference makers, so make sure you're very clear with your expectations of what's going to happen when they get to campus. Then we have potential over production. Potential is having or showing the capacity to develop into something. Production is what you do now. On the flip side, too many of you are recruiting potential over production, what you could be. And you know what potential is? That's the guy, you're potentially about to be fired, and the other guy is going to take care of your whatever's there or not there, okay? And then growth versus capacity. Growth is the process of developing and maturing. Capacity is the maximum amount they can contain. One of the tricks we used to do with recruiting is I wouldn't recruit a lot of public school kids that were the leading scorer on their team because most of the time they ain't playing nobody. I would recruit private school backups because every day they're going against a D1 talent and nobody's watching them. Okay? So then when I come to insert school who's in the top 20 and I'm sitting with all these D1 guys, they're like, who are you looking at? Nobody you are. But when they get to campus and the big time stud comes up, man, the guy I'm playing is playing at University of North Carolina. You think I'm worried about your little, okay? Again, it's all in your view because I got to convince that top leading scorer for that sorry public team that you're really not that good. And I don't have to convince the backup because I know exactly what role he's going to play. And that's when we break your heart on the first day of open gym and we say, Claude, go guard that guy. Got it. And then his heart's broken and he's gone and he's done for the year. And coach is like, man, I thought he was good. We told you he wasn't, coach. Sometimes you don't listen either. I was an assistant. So it was my job to tell you that kid in the county that you grew up in West Virginia, he's not that good, but this kid from DC who's in the private school means he can get in academically and he can handle it, and he just busted your player of the year on the first day of open gym, and now that kid's not coming back, okay? So here's some academic suggestions, and yes, I'm gonna give you academic suggestions because I'm an academic. 1, please have the same admission standards for your student athletes as your general population. You cash in too many favors. Admissions is your friend. Okay, they're going to tell you up front what's going to get in and what's not, so then you can start anticipating the package price. Okay, and then you, as Dan said, and the first thing he said, have the money conversation first. Because if I know you got a 3-2 National Honor Society, 4 AP classes, National Honor Society is $16,000 off the top of 50, University of Maryland costs 25, yeah, we can handle that. And you have that conversation, but you can't have it if you're mad at admissions, okay? 2, develop support classes for your first and second year student athletes. Now, I'd like to do it all 4 years, but I'm not, naive. But if I can get 2 years of good support for them, I can increase my graduation rate, okay? Just advice. You can take it or leave it. 3, recruit athletes that show the capabilities of finding a better balance. That's why we had academic ratings and athletic ratings, because the first thing I'm going to see is your athletic ability. Then I've got to figure out where you stand academically. And then 4, and several other speakers mentioned that, increase the amount of surveying you're doing, and that's formal and informal, okay?
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA SAVE Project's academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress, as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Athletic suggestions, because we're all coaches. We want to win. Yeah, I like winning too, okay? And again, all of these are in greater detail in the book. Share your passion. I have a passion for this. I have a passion for this so much that I scare people because that's how much I care. And I'm going to aggressively ask you questions. Why? I'm in athletics. We're used to yelling at each other. Academic people, oh my God. It's like, I really don't like y'all sometimes because you can't say nothing because everybody's feelings hurt all the time. But in the coaches meeting, hey, are we going to foul when we're up 3? Yeah, ask basketball coaches that. You'll get an argument right now. Foul them, don't foul them, foul them, don't, okay? 2, stay positive and goal oriented. My players now, who are all fathers and some of them are coaching, we've weeded it in their head that if this ain't going to help us win a state championship, then we don't need to talk about it. So we all got shared goals, shared accountability. So you being late to class, that's not going to help us win a state championship, so you got to go. See how we made it uncomfortable to be late for class? So the teachers don't have to say nothing. Captain's got that. I got him. Come on in the locker room. No, I'll go to class. Now, I don't know what happened in the locker room, but do we want them in class or not? Yes. So sometimes you got to turn your head, okay, and get what you need done. 3, have and maintain high standards. I love you, so I can say this to you. You've been too much. And when I say you, I mean coaches. I mean organizations. I mean admin. Ask Brooklyn about how bending works. The Brooklynettes bend all year. What do you got now? Nothing. Okay? So just have your standard. And as Mike Tomlin says, the standard is the standard. Okay? 4, work to create a positive work environment. I enjoy my work because I work with like-minded people. I believe in the 85-15 rule. I'm going to introduce you to my world, 85-15 rule. 85% of the people I deal with on a regular basis make me want to be 90. And I limit and minimize the interaction with people who are 15%ers. Have you ever been around a 15%er and left the meeting or left the room and been like, man, hey, what a Debbie Downer. And it messes your day up. But I had a chance to spend some time with some people at the University of North Carolina that I met through our work. And we had dinner and they're doing so many positive things that I'm like, I'm not doing enough. I need to go back and do some work. And if you've got people in your life that make you want to work, it's a beautiful thing, okay? 5, plan and prepare for everything. That's the school teacher in me. We got this. COVID, darn, working online. All right, let's get some training for the staff. Let's do this, let's do that. Let's modify the lessons and keep it moving. Teachers are amazing. We figure it out. Rest of the world, crying. Teachers, the last year sucked, all right? In a word, sucked. But we went to work every day, we rolled our sleeves up and we did our job. And we still got crap doing. But your kids need us, so we go to work every day, okay? So keep that in mind and go to the PTA meeting, okay? 6, know your personnel KYP. Know who you can discipline, know who you need to have the assistant coach talk to, know who you need to have the captain talk to. You just got to know everything, okay? 7, practice direct communication. Again, I will never be voted most popular or anything, but the folks who know me know he's going to do his job and he's going to do it well, and sometimes he's going to ruffle your feathers, but if you want to win, hang with him, and if that bothers you, then don't talk to him, because he doesn't care. And you'll be amazed at your growth capacity when you stop worrying about what other people think and do your job and do it to the best of your ability and go home and see your lovely wife who's taking pictures for me. All right, 8, show empathy. I'm not an ass. We're gonna help. We're gonna figure it out, okay? We're gonna do everything we can to help you because that's our job. And that's our job as a coach. And embrace shared ownership. We share it, okay? All of us share it. All right, so stakeholder relationships must be aligned. And right now we're having an issue collectively in athletics and academically of having aligned stakeholders. Student athlete is the only constant. But do they have the same relationship with teachers, as coaches, as administrators, as parents, as peers? Okay? You know what student athletes tell me? I don't know who my administrator is. Do you, on your campuses, let them hang out and know each other? Okay? So just have stakeholder alignment. It makes your life easier if things are aligned. I say this to say, who's going to be your Fowler and Campbell? That's young Adams, who was skinny prior to type 2. Got to eat better. Fowler played for me at Springbrook High School. He went to George Mason. And Fowler was a 2-time Washington Post All-Met Player of the Year, got all kinds of scholarship offers. But he trusted me with the recruiting process, and he and his family decided to go to George Mason, and everyone said, oh my God, you could have gone here, you could have gone there, and you went to little old George Mason? Well, guess what? A whole bunch of people went to little old George Mason, and they liked each other. And they liked their coaches, and they liked the meal plan, and they liked that others paid for their meals. So no rule change. And that little engine that could made it to the Final Four. And then Fowler played 12 years in Europe, cashing checks. And now where does Fowler work? Say it with me. George Mason. Works for the Patriot Club. And you know what he does? He shakes hands and he kisses babies and he helps raise money. And his kids could go to college for free because recruiting is about a 40-year relationship, not a 4-year relationship. Okay? So here's just a couple of reviews on the book. Dr. Lisa Rubin, who does student athlete support at Kansas State, graciously gave me a recommendation. Dan Tudor's on the back of the book. And Fowler wrote the foreword to my book. So how cool is that our kids play together? And I don't want to start crying, but that's the relationships we're talking about. Real life is real. And he wrote the foreword, and a former student of mine who was our team manager wrote the last words. Okay? Final thoughts. If you've got a middle school student athlete, if you're a parent, this book's for you. High school student athlete, professional development in the summer. College student athlete, especially if you don't have a long, strong academic budget, that's for you. High school, AAU, club coaches, it's for you. College coaches, it's for you. Educators and administrators, if you're in athletic administration, have that conversation. That's professional development for you. And parents, yes, it's for you too. Okay? I'm going to do that on the back end because I told you I want to work with you. So with that being said, if you have student athletes, we have virtual internships. Please send me an email because we're doing interviews the first week in August for student athlete support specialists, for an assistant accounting specialist, and athletic communications, assistant communications director. In other words, we want to give back, and these are all virtual positions, and people need experience. Now, do we pay a lot? No, it's a flat, small stipend, and we're all used to working for nothing. But we're going to give you the opportunity, okay? If you got your fancy phone out, I love your feedback. I can't say I want surveys and not ask for mine. So again, if you got your fancy phone out, any feedback you can give me is great. And I will have that on my computer, okay? And we would love to have you on our show. If you purchase our book, You read it, review it, give me a call, send me an email. You will be one of our Find the Balance Friday guests, and we can talk about your projects, we can talk about your school, we can talk about my project, and it's a mutually beneficial type relationship. And again, I have this on my laptop, so don't worry if you didn't get it, because as a good teacher, we begin with the end in mind, and that's my information, and I am here till Wednesday, because Mandy's speaking and I want to hear her too. Thank you for your time, and now, does anybody have any questions? Wait time 1.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You said educator, teacher versus coach. Have teachers on your staff?
We have both on our staff. We have,
But when you say a teacher looks at it differently, what are you talking about?
okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. We got a player, okay? His nickname is The Show. I'm going to tell you the Show story very briefly. The Show is 6'8", almost 300 pounds, and I'm a Division III coach. Do we have 6'8", 300-pound basketball players lying around in the corner? No. Now, The Show slept late because The Show's lazy, okay? And there's a reason why he's at a Division III school. So my coach is from West Virginia, and his dad was a worker. Everybody's a worker. Work, work, work. And we got practice at 6 o'clock, and the show would come at 6:15. Show's late. Everybody's running. You gotta be a clown. Hey, Show, come here for a second. Yes, coach. Can you be to practice at 6:15 every day? Yes. Okay. Make sure you're at practice at 6:15. Coach Dick, hey, move practice at 6:30. I guarantee you the Show will be there early. Okay? Okay. Show, if you're late, okay? Practice at 6:30. What time did the show come? 6 o'clock. All you got to do is talk to them, but teachers are trying to figure it out, and coaches, that's why you got to have a teacher on your staff. Because at the end of the day, we just want to be on practice on time, and we just want to do our work and keep it moving. But the show had a barrier, but you got a relationship with them because that's your job, and you figure it out. We win the championship, go to the NCAA tournament, get screwed by bad officials, whatever. Okay? But that's what I mean, because other coaches who've never taught, my master's is in teaching. That's the art of instruction. So I'm just trying to get to the end with as little reverb as possible. As one of the coaches said, drama. We don't do that. We figure it out. Scooby-Doo. And if you're bored, I'll tell you about the Scooby-Doo reference all the time, because my wife hears Scooby-Doo all the time. She's like, man, it's Scooby-Doo. Okay? Scooby-Doo solves mysteries. That's all we're trying to do. I see the what. We need to know the why. And then we can figure out the what. Wait time 2. Any additional questions? So wait time 1 is that first one, and most coaches stop after wait 1. Wait 2 is when you really get if somebody has a question. But we're here the entire presentation again, and thank you so much, and thank you to Dan for playing Prince for me, because that's, got me going, all right? Appreciate you all, thank you.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches Podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches Podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.